There's been a lot of coverage of Donald Trump's appearance on Meet the Press this past weekend. You know, his denial that the tariffs are actually going to hurt us. He doesn't seem to understand that. But one thing that happened during this interview that, of course, it took a while after people digested it for this one to really kind of blow up, is the fact that in the interview, Donald Trump accidentally admitted that he can no longer tell reality from fiction. This man's brain is so far gone that he doesn't know what's real anymore. Here is what happened. Donald Trump, as he does, went on a diatribe about how mean the media is to him, including, by the way, the Meet the Press host, Kristin Welker, who was interviewing him, called her nasty. And he said that she was much nicer to President Biden when she interviewed him. Here's what he said. The press was obviously unfair to me. The press, no president has ever gotten treated by the press like I was, and yet I got more votes than any Republican candidate in history by far. And then he said, you're very hostile. Well, hopefully you thought it was a fair interview. We covered a lot of policy grounds. It's fair only in that you allowed me to say what I say. But you know, the answers to questions are, pretty nasty. But look, because I've seen you interview other people like Biden. At which point she jumped in and said, I've never interviewed President Biden. And Trump responded, I'm talking metaphorically. No, you weren't. You created an alternate reality. Then you got mad about the alternate reality that you created in your demented little brain. And you yelled at her for something that didn't happen because you created it and you instantly believed it was real. That is psychosis, folks. If somebody were to walk in to a psychiatrist's office and do that, they would either be put on medication immediately because they're suffering from psychosis, but most likely the doctor would recommend or, prescribe them, order them to go do, brain scans, CAT scan, that kind of thing. Let's see if there's actual damage or deterioration because of this psychosis you're suffering from. That wasn't an interview, that was a symptom. And then when he got called on it, because he literally said, I've seen you do this. And she's like, no, you haven't. And he goes, well, I was speaking metaphorically. That's not a metaphor. You said you've seen her do it. And she had to point out that, no, I haven't. So you immediately lie to cover up the fact that you got busted for not knowing what was real and what was not. You just say things and you hope they're true and you try to push them to be true, even when they have no basis in reality. That is psychosis. Donald Trump needs mental health. He needs mental health help, I should say. There is something dangerously wrong with him. And in the run-up to the election, the mental health professionals were not shy about telling us these things. They could see clear as day. Some of them did offer, kind of armchair diagnosis for him. But, majority of people who voted didn't seem to care. Perhaps those concerns from the mental health professionals were not loud enough. Perhaps they weren't discussed enough. But this wasn't just a weird moment during an interview. This was a symptom of a broader psychological, possibly neurological problem that Donald Trump is suffering from, and it needs to be treated as such. And honestly, it probably needs to be treated as such by a medical professional. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.